Well, I tell you, I did some searching on the draft age, and I think they just recently raised it to 46, which means both you and I,
What, here?
yeah, could be drafted.
I don't think we have a draft here, do we? We'll have to
No.
get forced conscription?
No, not yet. You just wait and see.
Okay. Which that's what the like the Columbia Record Club is, isn't that forced conscription? Oh, that's forced subscription, excuse me. That's a lot harder to get out of.
Yeah,
Yeah.
You do have to flee to Canada to get away from that.
But the story of that is that Israel is right in the center of that.
Israel
They were the one who'd concocted the whole scheme.
Yeah, they are backing the Georgians.
And they sent the advisors in to show them how to do it.
Yeah. Well, I don't know about concocted, but their hands are all over it. That may be...
What's the difference?
Well, they were material support. They weren't the guy who thought it up.
That sounds like to me they were, if they were the ones for the whole pipeline deal.
Maybe.
And what I wonder is, in fact, if they did it now just to test the Russians to see how capable they were, or tried to create a long-term distraction while they went after Iran. Keep Russia busy with that while they were doing it.
Well, one of the things I was going to print a story up about it, but I didn't get a chance to. The life of Tom Bionic, as you know, has been consistently turned upside down.
You're saying we're a low priority in your life?
No, I'm saying you're a very high priority, but it's hard to dodge bullets, both spiritual and physical.
Yeah. So what do you think about that?
I thought that was pretty heavy. You know that we have 5 carrier groups streaming as of recording time, August 12th.
Yeah. One of my stories
Iran.
I had on that.
Oh, gosh.
Had that.
Okay.
But you could talk about it.
I'll take it back.
No, hey, that's how our show normally sounds. You might come out right.
Yeah.
Doing it that way.
Yeah.
Do you have a story for us?
Yeah, I got 2 good ones. Here's a really good one. Document forensics expert says Obama's birth certificate is a horrible forgery. Barack Obama may be on a world tour surrounded by a fawning media, but Sunday, an expert in electronic document forensics released a detailed report on the purported birth certificate. Actually, a certificate of live birth, or COLB, claimed as genuine by his campaign. The experts concluded with 100% certainty that it is a crudely forged fake, a horrible forgery, according to the analysis published on the popular right-wing Atlas Shrugged blog. So that would, of course, mean that...
He's not a U.S. citizen.
Yeah, and he wouldn't be eligible to be president.
Would that be that big a story, do you think?
No,
Okay.
you're right. Let's talk about Britney Spears.
Well, no wonder the mainstream media is not talking about this very much. I mean, obviously, it's such a trivial issue. And lost one of the major candidates. You know, they talked about this in Montreal when I was there.
Really? Well, gosh, right after he won, I can't help but think of a news segment I watched in Fox News at Future Quake Studios here, actually, where Sean Hannity, I believe, was interviewing somebody who said, I've heard some horrible things about the Barack Obama campaign, and there's some rumor out there that may just sink his campaign. And I'm not going to tell you what it is, but the way it's going around the internet and the way it's being cast around to different people makes me think it might be true. And I'm wondering if this might be that.
Yeah, could be.
And who knows what at this point.
Maybe they'll pick Edwards to replace him.
Yeah, I'm sure that
somebody who's clean, straight up with the public.
Well, he is oddly straight up with the public as of 4 days ago.
Yeah, red-handed.
Yeah.
Okay. What else you got there?
Well, let's see. The latest examination of the purported documents is by far the most detailed and technically sophisticated to date. Atlas Shrugged's publisher Pamela Geller reports that the expert analyst who goes by the screen name Tech Dude is an active member of the Association of Certified Fraud Examiners, the American College of Forensic Examiners, the International Society of Forensic Computer Examiners, the International Information Systems Forensic Association, and the list goes on. He's also board certified as a forensic computer examiner, a certified legal examiner, a licensed private investigator. Tech Dude's detailed report, which runs more than 3,000 words and 20 pages with extensive magnified illustrations and comparisons, reaches the following conclusion about the documented that was first published on the Daily Cause extreme left-wing blog and subsequently publicly endorsed by the Obama campaign. both in statements by the official spokesman and featured on its Fight the Smears website. Here are some of the conclusions. The Daily Cause image security border does not match any known specimen from any known year. It does not match the pre-2006, nor does it match the post-2006 certificate patterns. The place of the text in all of the pre-2006 and post-2006 certificates are almost identical pixel location matches, while the image's text placement does not match any known specimen from any known year. The shape and placement does not match the shape and kerning of the fonts used in the 2006 through 2008 certificates are identical, while the shape and kerning of the fonts used in the image do not match any known specimen. The cause image shows clear signs of tampering, such as the mismatch in RGB specimen. And he goes on and on and on.
Wow.
About
and
it.
for someone who knows documents would know right then, like, psh, must be fake.
I would think so.
Okay.
I don't know enough about documents, unfortunately.
So, what's it say there at the end?
Well, after more than a month of controversy and demands that the Obama campaign produce a paper birth certificate for analysis, the damning new evidence raises the stakes for the Democratic Party and its frontrunner. And it goes on about different sort of political things. So that's
that'd be a great thing for Hillary to bring to the convention when she goes to speak, to say, look, we don't want to lose, them to bring this afterwards. So we'd better fix it now and pick me. Maybe we need a change.
Huh. Well, it's interesting that she hasn't really left the spotlight completely.
Oh yeah. Yeah, they're saying she's pretty cold toward him. But it changes moment by moment, but we're a couple weeks away from the convention, so.
Well, they better hurry up and resolve this.
But if they declare martial law at the convention, they had those Army guys practicing jumping down on the buildings in Denver there.
They did. And it's funny you mentioned that.
All those places.
How are we doing on time?
We've got about 3 minutes.
Okay, because my next story was going to be about an Arkansas city where they've actually declared martial law. But let's do yours.
We need to talk shorthand.
Right.
Is what we need to do.
Yeah.
Well, since you mentioned about the
carrier group,
I guess we ought to bring that up real quick.
Mm-hmm.
3 major U.S. naval strike forces due this week in Persian Gulf. Military sources note that the arrival of 3 new American flotillas will raise to 5 the number of U.S. strike forces in Middle East waters, an unprecedented buildup since the crisis erupted over Iran's program. This vast naval and air strength consists of more than 40 carriers, warships, and submarines, some of the last nuclear-armed, opposite the Islamic Republic, a concentration last seen just before the U.S.-led invasion of Iraq, 2003. It seemed like it'd be hard to miss it if you just shot a bunch of missiles in the air. It seemed like it'd completely cover the water. It'd be that many things. Their military sources postulate 5 objects of the show of muscle. One is the U.S., aided by France, Britain, and Canada, is finalizing preparations for a partial naval blockade to deny Iran imports of benzene and other refined oil products. This means that the Bush administration had thrown in the towel on stiff United Nations sanctions. Number 2 option is Iran, which imports 40% of its refined fuel products from Gulf neighbors, will retaliate for the embargo by shutting the Strait of Hormuz oil route choke point, in which case the U.S. Naval and Air Force stand ready to reopen the strait and fight back any Iranian attempt to break through the blockade. 3. Washington is deploying forces as backup for a possible Israeli military attack on Iran's nuclear installations. It also provides sitting duck targets for Iranian missiles. That was my editorial. 4, a potential rush of events in which a U.S.-led blockade, Israeli attack, and Iranian reprisals pile up in a very short time, precipitate a major military crisis. And then 5, while a massive deployment of this nature calls for long planning, its occurrence at this time cannot be divorced from the flare-up of the war between Russia and Georgia. While Russia has strengthened its stake in Caspian oil resources by its overwhelming military intervention, the Americans are investing might in defending the primary Persian Gulf oil resources of the West and Far East.
Wow.
So oil is driving all this stuff.
So, in a nutshell, things are looks like they're gearing up to really start getting.
I'm in a nutshell. Let me out. Speaking of that, we got to go.
All right.
But first, we need to let Merv tell everybody how you can give us feedback about our show. So, Merv, tell them how they can let us know about our show and what they'd like to see on it.
Future Quake radio broadcasts are archived at www.futurequake.com, suitable for downloading or streaming, as well as other show information. Email Dr. Future and Tom Bionic at drfuture@futurequake.com. That's DRFUTURE at futurequake.com. Tell us your name, city, and radio station or internet, and if we can use your name on air. Comments on the show's topics or guests, or suggestions for future show topics or guests are most welcome. Dr. Future and Tom will discuss selected emails each week during the radio broadcast.
Okay, we've got like 5 seconds, 10 seconds.
Fasten your seat, Futurians. Seat belt.
Yeah.
Fasten your seat. Fasten your seatbelt, Futurians. Here we
Yeah.
go. Things are going to get crazy.
Intense days ahead.
Yeah.
Stay tuned to Future Quake, the news you can trust. We thank you so much for listening, and until next Monday, we hope your future is very bright. Have a good day.
Join us next time as we dare to experience another aftershock of a future quake.
There are new dreams crowding out old realities. There's revolution